some last minute things which I was just trying to close. As usual, there are a few questions in that which are ambiguous. So hence there was some issues, and we're trying to get that rectified. Okay. So give me a couple of minutes, and we'll start the session. Please type a yes. Okay, and we'll quickly start the session. Okay, great. It seems audio is fine. Okay, since all of you would have taken the paper, we'll not waste too much time in the paper except comparing how it was vis-a-vis the papers, last year's paper or the earlier papers. Okay. And like you, I too have the paper with me. I was at one of the centers in Delhi, so I have my paper with me. Okay. So let's quickly get down to discussing what we think was important as far as this paper is concerned. Okay. In terms of the structure, this was known to us, but when I look at this particular paper, effectively, if you remember the webinar which we had taken, it was by and large along the same line, and when a time of about 40 minutes to verbal, 50 minutes to decision making, and this you could extend to something like 55 minutes. Okay, and the 70 to 75 minutes for Quant and DI was sufficient. Okay, I am in my case, I attempted the paper as verbal first, then DM, and then QADI. Okay, and while verbal and scanning the paper, I was able to end at about 44-45 minutes, another 50 minutes out here, and the balance 75 odd minutes were taken here. But this could have gone to 55 minutes had you looked at all the. I left a couple of questions, but if you were not leaving those questions, it could be about 55 minutes or so. Okay. So no surprises there. But let's look at the section verbal ability. First of all, how was the section vis-a-vis last year's paper? I'll say difficult. If I compare that of last year, which is that 2015, that 2015 is more difficult. It was less difficult than that 2016. Okay. So this year we have a slightly more difficult paper as compared to the previous one, especially the RCs. Some of the RCs we would have found difficult to read, and also a couple of questions in each of them were difficult to understand and comprehend. But time was not an issue, and spending more time would not give you the right answers. But something like 16 to 18 questions were easily attemptable as far as this paper was concerned. Okay, and as expected, there were 15 questions of RC. So this had 14 questions of reading comprehension, and the balance 12 questions were the verbal logic part. I'm sure most of you would have got parajumbles right. The question on pronunciation have been is a new thing as far as this paper is concerned. Okay, and para completion also was easy. So these three questions were easy. The vocabulary question again was a little tricky. The vocabulary question, wherein some people would have possibly got the wrong answer. Okay. The inspect to vivisect, this was a little tricky. The correct answer to inspect to vivisect is inquired to explore, but would have been a little tricky. One would end up leaving a few questions of critical reasoning and a few questions from reading comprehension. Hence, out of the 26 questions in all, an attempt of about 16 to 18, which means you'll leave about 7 to 8 questions, was definitely on the cards. Though there are students who have done about 22 odd questions also, but by and large, I would say in 40 minutes, more 40 to 45 minutes, something like 16 to 18 attempts with 4 to 5 errors, and which gives you a net score of 10 to 11. Now, which makes it a slightly more difficult paper as compared to last year. Last year, I would have said a good score would be about 12 to 13. So something like 1.5 mark reduction is definitely on as far as this paper is concerned. But not very difficult as such. So if I look at verbal ability, I'll say this is a standard DM verbal ability paper as far as that is concerned. Yes, the degree of difficulty is marginally more than last year, but that minor change in degree of difficulty will happen every year. As far as that is concerned, verbal ability and decision making were standard sections as far as this paper is concerned. Okay. Quant. Now, this section I'm sure would have given a great amount of relief to most of you. Those of you who have been looking at the past XAT paper and saying, can I attempt or not? I'm sure here you would have found quite a few questions which were attemptable. So out of the 29 odd questions, 17 to 19, something 18 questions were definitely doable. A few questions were tricky, there's no doubt about it, and were meant to be left. The DI would have definitely confused, but the good part about DI was that at least one of the set, you could just get the answers based on the choices. The table, the table-based DI. All three, I would say, I will classify it as easy for the simple reason you could get the answer from the choices. So if you looked at the choices, you could eliminate the choices very, very easily. But otherwise, if you start solving it, I'm not sure if you will get the answer or not. The combination-based DI, the graph with the cumulative bar chart with the line chart in it. Out of the 4 questions, I don't expect one to do more than 2 questions. So while these 3 should have been attempted here, I would say maybe only a couple of questions can be attempted. And most of the other questions were not difficult. I'm sure some of you would have done about 25 odd questions also, but by and large, from a normal XAT attempt, so a normal paper of XAT where a good attempt would be about 13 to 15 questions. This time you find people attempting about 4 questions more. Okay? And that is essentially because of the lower level of difficulty of the paper. Okay? So overall, I'm sure this was a section which would have left most of you with a smile and would not be disappointed. Because the questions were somewhat easier. Okay. There are a couple of incorrect questions as far as this paper is concerned. We'll be giving the details on it on the score calculator also. But the base system question, okay, you calculate the base to be 5. Most of the people calculate the base to be 5, but we forget that the number 2061 cannot be written on a base of 5. So this cannot be there, so the answer cannot be on the base of 5. Actually, this question appears to be incorrect. Similarly, the question on M inlet pipes and N outlet pipes, multiple answers are possible. And hence that also is an issue as far as this paper is concerned. So if we ignore those 2 to 3 questions which are incorrect, or which are ambiguous, by and large, people would have been able to do about 17, 18 questions. Had it not been these 2, 3 incorrect or ambiguous questions, maybe we would have been able to attempt a couple of extra questions. But I would say 17, 18 questions definitely on. Some of you would have done 15, 16 questions, that's fine. But if you have done that only about 10 to 12 questions, then maybe you are a little on the edge. Okay? Good thing again was the choices were helpful. Many questions, the choices were helpful. For example, if you look at this particular question in which there were 2 curves and the area of this curve is given and we need to find the area or the length of this was the y curve and this was x, and we need to find the length of x. Now the simple thing which could have been done was that x has to be greater than y, and not significantly, it can only be marginally greater. Okay, so that was a simple thing which could have been done and we could have solved the question comfortably with the help of choices. So the choices were helpful. Unlike the previous years, not too many questions with none of these as an answer choice. Till last year, if you remember, the number of questions with none of these was very high. This year, we find much lower number of questions with none of these. Hence, you could easily use the choices. But overall level of difficulty, I'll say easy to moderate, though more difficult than that of CAT 2015, but easier than that 2015. Okay? As far as I'm concerned, a score of 12 to 14 is going to be a very good score in this paper. Okay? Decision making, as we expected, 18 questions, 18 situational or behavioral decision making questions, 5 questions of mathematical decision making. And out of this, 3 were very easy. The one which meant with people were searching for flats, those 6 or 7 people searching for flat, yes, they would have been time consuming, but definitely doable. The 2 questions on the crops were not to be attempted. That would have been extremely time consuming, and these 2 questions itself could have taken you about 10 minutes, and which is why to my mind something like 50 minutes was sufficient as far as this particular section is concerned. Obviously, that means you leave these two questions. Leaving these two questions was definitely required, but if you want to do these two questions also, then it will take you about 60 minutes. Okay. In the situational or the behavioral decision-making questions, some of the questions had closed choices, especially the question where you had to write the order of the statements. What is the order in which we should be marking the most ethical to unethical and so on and so forth. Those kind of questions have been confusing, and some of the other questions were again on the iffy side. And if you remember in the webinar, we had said typically this is a 13 plus 5 plus 5 kind of a paper in which there will be 5 questions of mathematical reasoning. 18 questions would be typically the ones which are your behavioral or situational or behavioral decision-making question. Out of it, 13 would be okay and 5 would be closed choices or difficult. Okay, closed or difficult questions. Closed choices or questions which are difficult. And that is what it turns out to be. So when you're looking at these, out of these 5, you should be attempting 3 questions. Out of these 13, maybe you'll attempt about 10 to 12 questions, and out of these 5 again you'll attempt about 2 to 3 questions, which will give you to something like a 16 to 18 questions. Okay, and that's the broad picture. Something like 16, 17, 18 questions was sufficient. Critical thing as far as decision making and reading comprehension are concerned, that you leave questions which are ambiguous or where you think you are getting confused. In terms of the kind of decision making section, it's a standard decision making section. Standard DM section of XAT. Okay, not too much to choose between this and the earlier papers. Yes, with respect to last year's paper, this would be slightly easier because last year there were a larger number of questions which were ambiguous. So from that point of view, you should be able to get a 1.5 marks or maybe a couple of marks extra in decision making. So as far as this paper is concerned, vis-a-vis last year, I'll say this was a +2 mark paper, while as far as English is concerned, it was a -1 mark paper. Okay. So what do we look at in terms of general awareness? I'm sure most of you would have found it tough. Okay. While we think 7 to 8 is possible, I personally would be happy with a score of 5 also, because I know if you get a 4 to 5 mark in this particular section, you are safe as far as XLR is concerned. All kind of questions, I'm sure, because there was no negative marking, you would have marked answer to all of them, and hopefully a couple of your guessworks would also be right. So something like 5 marks if you get, you're safe. But we think about 7 to 8 was definitely achievable in this particular section. Let's look at the cutoffs now. Something which I'm sure most of you will be waiting for. Now these are given with respect to for the 3 important institutes with respect to the stream of specialization. So XLRI, BM, Business Management, and HRM. Typically, the verbal cutoff for HRM is at 90 percentile, and for VA for the BM is 80 percentile. And we expect the HRM cutoff to be at 8 marks, while that of BM to be at 7 marks. But the decision-making cutoff for both these streams is the same, 80 percentile. While in terms of Quant, the sectional cutoff of BM is at 90 percentile and of HRM at 70 percentile. And hence these are what we think would be the sectional cutoffs. Overall cutoff for BM about 31 to 33 and a couple of marks lower for HRM. Now 31 to 33 will typically correspond to about 95 percentile. So you can say a mean figure of 32 marks between 31 and 33 should lead to about 94 to 95 percentile. And this is about 30 marks should be somewhere in the region of about 91, 92 percentile. Okay. This is what typically would happen for HRM. When it comes to XIMB, the sectional cutoffs are much lower, and actually these are also the sectional cutoffs for SPGen. But since XIMB typically has a sectional cutoff of an overall cutoff about 92 percentile for BM, and remember they have also increased their seats, and this is likely to be about 87, 88 percentile. So these are slightly lower figure. SPGen don't expect a call below 95 percentile, and this could actually go to 96, 97 also. Hence 31 to 33 is what we are saying. Okay. One of the program which some of you may have applied, XLRI, the Global Management Program. There again, I would say the cutoff would be in the region about 85 percentile. So something like a 85 percentile would be the cutoff for the global management program of XLRI, and there the cutoff could be about 25 marks. So maybe 24 to 25 is what you could be looking at. For those of you who have applied to Great Lakes has an overall cutoff of 90 percentile for interview call. Great Lakes, this is the 1 year program. For 2 year program, it will be 85 percentile. For the Great Lakes 1 year program, the cutoff is at about 90 percentile, and hence you can look at a score of about 27 to 28 or 27 to 29. Okay. So if you are getting a score of about 30, more or less you would be able to clear the overall cutoff of almost all the institutes. A couple of marks here or there is all that would be required. Okay. So that's the broad picture as far as this paper is concerned. Now let me quickly look at the questions which have been raised and see if I can answer your questions. Okay. Okay. A good score equates to what percentile? A good score would be something like a 97, 98 percentile. Okay. Okay. The first question, I attempted 11 in section 1, section 2, 11. Can I expect to get a call from Irma? 22 and 8, 30. It's a question of your marks. Now, what is the accuracy? Okay, but 30 on the whole is low, and if you have a very good accuracy, then you can definitely get a call from Irma. Okay. Okay. The e-webinar will be available in SIS. Okay. What would be the overall cutoff for IMT Ghaziabad? IMT Ghaziabad, again, you should be looking at something like a 90 odd percentile, 90 percentile. So something like a 28 to 30 is what you would be looking at, 27 to 29. Okay. IMT Ghaziabad, again, 27 to 29 is the kind of score you should be, that should be able to get your call. XLRI Global MBA, as I've said, something like a 25 plus should get your call. XLRI Global MBA, Jitesh, if you have applied for it, 25 plus is what you should be getting. You're expecting 39 marks, Jitesh, at 39 marks, you are likely to be close to 98 percentile or higher, and hence it should not be, and you'll be able to get calls from BM, HRM, as well as the global business management. XLRI does not have any reservations, so no separate cutoff for OBCs, SC, ST. There's only a general category cutoff as far as XLRI is concerned. Okay. The sectional cutoff for general management program, the sectional cutoffs here, I would assume would be similar to that of XIMB. So something like 70-75 percentile is what I would expect as the sectional cutoffs for global management. The score calculator is almost ready, and it should be released anytime now, so that you can check out your answers. Okay, the answer key should be there, is ready, and we'll be releasing it very shortly. GK was very easy. Good, Ayla, if you found GK to be easy, that's good for you. But our overall analysis, it is not as easy as it appears to be, and the chances of making a mistake are high. And which is why we feel if you get 7 to 8, you have done a reasonably good job of this paper. 98 to 99 percentile. If I look at this particular paper, if you look at XAT 2016, I am saying something like 95 percentile should be at about 32 marks. Okay, and at about 40 marks, you should be about 98 percentile. And something like a 43 should get you a 99 percentile plus. Okay, 43 should get you over 99 percentile. Okay, so 98 to 99 should be in the region of 48 to 40 to 43. 95 should be at about 32, and I'll say the beyond that it's what you want to go for. Okay. Jim and Liba, Goa Institute of Management. Typically, the cutoff is 85 percentile. So, XLRI Global Management and Goa Institute of Management, both of them could be in the region of 25 marks. Liba again is somewhere between 85 to 88 percentile. So, 25 to 26 for Goa Institute of Management, Liba XLRI BM, sorry, Global Management, not BM, Global Management Program. Yeah. Okay, score calculator answer key will be out in another half an hour at best. It's almost ready. GMP we have already talked about. Good score for IMT Ghaziabad. We have talked about 27 to 29. Score calculator OBC. Score of 9 in Quant. You could be just missing the cutoff of XLRI BM, while the HRM cutoff you should be clearing. Divyam, I have encircled wrong bubble in a letter by my name OMR, I felt. Divyam, it will not be a problem. If you have encircled a wrong bubble in a letter of your name in the OMR, it will not be a problem. If all the other details are fine, this is a minor issue and they will correct it. So just relax and don't worry too much about it. In another half an hour, we will be releasing the score calculator and then you can check out what your score is. 4 KJ Somaya, 4 KJ Somaya, again, these are again 85 percentile kind of institute. 4 KJ Somaya, all of them are something like 25, 26. Okay, all of these are 25, 26 marks. XAT scorecard live score calculator will be live shortly. Expecting 8 to 9 in QA. Sunny Bajaj, Sunny, you're expecting 8 to 9 in QA, overall 35 plus. XLRI BM you could miss because of 8 to 9 in QA. While HRM is definitely on, but BM might be an issue. If you are lucky, hopefully you will be able to get a call, but I think it's going to be a little difficult to get a BM call at a score of 8 to 9 in QA. 99 percentile, as I've just said, in this paper should be in the region about 43 to 45 marks. Okay, one thing which you need to remember is that will come out, will ask each one of you to send, they will come out with an answer key and they will ask you to send a mail to them if you think there are any answers which are incorrect. We will be releasing the list of incorrect questions and you should definitely send a mail to XLRI with the details. Okay, that unlike IFT and CAT, that will accept that these questions are wrong and they will compensate all the students for those incorrect questions. Okay. Joshua, most probably you will get a mark for the multiple answers of the pipes question, the inlet and outlet pipes, because if you have marked 1:1, you will get a mark. 2:1 was also right, so multiple answers were possible and none of the answer choice is correct. So we don't know how they will treat this, but the question was incorrect and hopefully they will give all those who marked an answer some marks for this particular question. TAPME 4, all of them are 85 percentile, similar to that of, so TAPME 4, let me also write down here. So this will also be true for TAPME. Okay. Sectional cutoff for global management, my guess is going to be the same as it's a 75 percentile kind of a thing. So it should not be a problem. I'm sure most of you will be getting something like 7 to 8 marks in each of the sections. Okay. Lalit, the score calculator will be live shortly. You can check your scores at that point of time. 35 marks is likely to be about 96, 97 percentile. Okay. Okay. Neeraj is asking, will we get marks for ambiguous questions? For example, for base 1, for the question on bases, I marked 130 with base 5. Actually, the person who created the problem has possibly made this mistake. So most probably they will delete this question because the question is erroneous. 2061 cannot be written in base of 5 as 2061. Okay. So there's erroneous question and most probably the question will get eliminated. Okay, I think all the cutoffs have been mentioned. Please list good colleges taking that score. The good colleges taking that score, obviously, let me start from the top. XLRI, Both the and it has got 3 programs. Let me not get into it. XIM Bhubaneswar, SP Jain. Then you have IMT Ghaziabad, KJ Somaya, Goa Institute of Management. Okay, TAPME. All of these are good colleges which will take XAT scores. There are other few which I'm missing out on, but these are the ones which you should definitely look at if you are serious about. Signum would not take XAT scores. The Signum goes by Maharashtra CT score, so this is not valid. Okay. Okay, Samiksha is asking, I have attempted 40 questions, only 7 questions for Quant. With HRM, Samiksha, with 5 correct, you will possibly find it difficult to clear the cutoff. I would believe that you need at 7 marks to get a call from XLRE HRM. Hopefully, I'll be proved wrong and you can get a call, but I think that will be a little difficult. Okay. GK cutoff is not relevant for Ilma. The GK cutoff is relevant only for GK scores. There's no GK cutoff actually. GK score and essay are evaluated only for XLRI and no other institutes looks at them. Apart from XLRI, XIMB and SPJN, all other institutes do not have sectional cutoffs. So you are safe as far as most of the others are concerned. Focus only on the overall cutoff and don't worry too much about the sectional cutoff. See, the cutoff is the reason why I've written 31 to 33 for BM, because I would believe each one of us will, all the candidates are likely to lose 1 to 1.5 marks for unattempted questions. Otherwise, I would have given a 1 mark over this cutoff. So 31 to 33 is what I think. After considering the fact that most of you would not have attempted something like 20 questions in this paper, okay, or 20 to 25 questions, or 30 questions on the higher side. So all candidates are likely to lose 1 to 1.5 marks overall, and that is the reason why the cutoff is looking at 31 to 33. Otherwise, I would more inclined to look at a cutoff of in the region of 32 to 34. As far as sectional cutoffs are concerned, we have taken that into account that you will lose maybe half to 0.25 to half mark in each section on the count of unattempted questions. 4 KJ Somaya cutoff 85 percentile, so about 25 marks is what you should be looking at. 9 in Quant, Akash clear for HRM, unlike borderline case for QADI. Okay. Overall percentile that one can make to most of the time when you look at people inside XLRE, most of them have 97 percentile plus. 97 percentile plus for BM, which means if you are something like a 36-37 marks in the paper, you are reasonably safe. While 32-33 is likely to be a borderline case, 36-37 means you will be 97 plus, and you have a very good chance of making to the next stage, to the final stage. Yeah. Okay, placements of global management have been good. So just check the placement report on the XLRE website. Tanzin, I attempted 18, 18, 22, 40, 58 questions. Tanzin with for 58 questions, 70% accuracy, you can expect to convert. You can expect to convert because 30% means 58 means about 17 incorrect answers, so 16 incorrect answers, so which means -4, so you are likely to be about 37-38 marks. So Tanzan, with 37-38 marks you can get a call, and 18-18-22 is good attempt across all 3 sections. So you should actually be starting, you should start preparing for the next stage. If you have not already started preparing for the next stage, you should do so immediately. Hope you have already started attending your PDP classes. Great Lakes, to the best of my knowledge, Sudarshan, does not have sectional cutoff. To the best of my knowledge, Great Lakes only has a 90 percentile overall cutoff in the paper. GK and essay scores are not released at all. LIBA has reservation for Christian community. So please be careful about so those from the Christian community are likely to get called at the lower score. Saral, I have circled wrong month in date of birth. Not too much of an issue, Saral. If all your other details are fine and if you have written the correct date of birth, then it will not be a problem. Yeah. 4 does not take that score, I think, but I could be mistaken. TAPME does. TAPME should be about 25-26 marks. Anubhuti says, I found Quant tough. Anubhuti, Quant I don't think was tough as compared to last year. Last year's Quant was tougher. This year you had at least, in the worst case also, you could attempt something like 12 to 13 questions. Anyone with an average level of comfort with Quant definitely had 12-13 questions. Okay. Ravi is saying last year Great Lakes 1 year program at 85 percentile. This time it is expected 90 percentile. Ravi, converting a call from Great Lakes is difficult with less than 90 percentile. So while you can get a call at 85 percentile for Great Lakes PGPM, the 1 year program, the chances of converting it are very low if you happen to be less than 90 percentile. So by and large, I take it to be 90 percentile most of the time. Saral, your essay was poor. Don't worry. Essay will be discussed. If you have a very poor essay, it will be a point of discussion in the interview. If you have done well in the aptitude portion, quant, DM, and verbal, please start preparing. You will get a call. And with a poor essay, it is more important for you to do well in the interview as compared to others who have done a better essay. Siddharth, hoping to score 42 marks. What are the chances of final conversion? Very high. Because typically XAT has 60 to 65% weight for, XLR has 60 to 65% weight for the written score or the XAT score. So good chance of conversion, but you still need to have a good interview and group discussion to get a final call. Okay, per section left questions be counted, overall 13 questions. Overall, if you have attempted 50 questions, let me assume that you have, out of the 78 questions, there are a total of 78 questions, you have attempted, let's say 50. That means you have not attempted 28. So removing minus 13, there are 15 questions which you have not attempted, for which you will get a minus 0.05. So you'll have a minus 0.75. You'll have an aggregate, you will come down by 0.75, and in each of the section you will come down by maybe 0.2 to 0.3 marks. Okay. Last year I got to 85% in that for GMP. Yes, you are right, Zahin. 85 percentile is what is the cutoff for the GMP, and which to my mind should be about 25 marks. 85 percentile should be about 25 marks. Someone is asking QA 9, DM 10, verbal 6. Someone, if these are the scores you're expecting, then you should get it through IRMA. If these are your attempts, then IRMA will be difficult. Anand, it should not be a problem. Anand is saying the admit card copy which did not have a picture pasted was taken by the invigilator by mistake. Don't have to worry about anything. That's not important. It has been verified. You are the person. They will possibly assume that the picture got dropped somewhere, and don't worry about it. CAT results are expected to be, Sulbi, CAT results are expected to come out around 11 to 12th of this month, while XAT results will be out by 31st of January. So XAT results end of this month, CAT results next week, 11 to 12 January. Prashant is asking for base question. According to the question, what will be the correct answer? It's an incorrect question, so my guess is they will eliminate the question. Okay, that the 130, they could consider. I think the person who created the question made the mistake, but the 130 cannot be the answer because 2601 cannot be written in base 5. KJ Somaya, no sectional cutoff is what you could be looking at. Okay. Okay, good percentile for converting a HRM call, CRE, it will be about 95 percentile. If you are 95 percentile or above, then you have a very good chance of converting HRM call. Prateek is asking the triangle question with the angle one was also wrong, wasn't it? No, Prateek, that was right. The correct answer to that question is 120 degrees. Triangle question which one angle was given as 20 degrees. The correct answer there is 120 degrees. GK and SA scores are not. Will we get marks for wrong or incorrect question even if don't mark it? Unlikely. Either they'll delete the question or give marks to all those who attempted the question. Akash, the paper was totally opposite to what XLRE mentioned. No, not really. If you look at it overall, all they had said was we are giving extra time because they want people to go through all the questions. I am sure you would have been able to go through at least 70 of the 78 questions. Secondly, they had said we want to reduce the level of difficulty. To some extent that is right because Quant, the level of difficulty is lower than that of the last 3 years papers of XAT. Look at XAT 12, 13, 14, 15. All 4 of them were more difficult than this year's Quant. As far as DM and English are concerned, they were by and large similar to what you expect in XAT. They were not significantly difficult from last 3-4 years papers, nor they were significantly easier. English and DM were almost what you expect the XAT paper to be like. Quant, as they had said, was easier than what it was the case last couple of years. SPJN for profile-based call, is that score considered? Yes, that score is considered for profile-based call. And so profile-based calls, you need a minimum 75 percentile in each section. Essay should have been about 200 to 250 words, Prashant. I don't think that should have been an issue. What is the best course in XLRI? The best course in XLRI is HR or BM. If you are keen on HR, then that is what is the best course for you. Otherwise, BM if you are not sure whether you want to get into HR or not. Except for XLRI, XIMB, SPJN, all other XAT paper institutes do not have sectional cutoffs. Divyam, the minimum sectional percentile is written given on this slide. If you look at the underneath each of the number. Essay of 165 odd words is fine, Prashant. You had that much space only where you could not write more than that possibly. But to me, as long as you are between 150 and 250 words or 200 words on the ballpark, you are fine. I don't think we had space for more than 250 words. Okay. Great Lakes PGPM possible at 30? Definitely PGPM will definitely be possible at 30 marks. Because you have a chance, because you're Orissa domicile, you could get a call from XIMB. Shweta is asking us what is the difficulty level of TIS as compared to XAT. Extremely easy. You'll have a score calculator for TIS also. Answer to the circumference question was 15 pi upon root 2. Answer to the question on circumference, I am assuming this is the question you are talking about, in which you have one circumference here and here. This is given to us as 10 pi, and this is what we need to find. Okay, I am assuming this is the question you are asking for, because okay. How good is LIBA? Sakshi is asking. Sakshi, it's an extremely good institute. Should definitely be considered. 47 attempts, 75% accuracy. Deepak, the score calculator should be live anytime now, and you should be able to check out. Yes, DI was tough. One set was tough, but the other set was reasonably easy. Akbar says, I missed applying for SP Jain, but do I have a second chance? Unfortunately, Akbar, you can't apply now. The application window is over. Can I expect a call from XLR if I score in the lower 90s? Kumar Harshvardhan, this is what we expect in terms of cutoffs. So you can look at these scores and see if it works for you. Karishma is saying aptitude was fine, getting a score of around 39, that's very good. Performed poorly in GK, but essay was good, chance of converting. Yes, Karishma, low score in GK does not eliminate you, but it will possibly lead to some questioning at the interview stage. So start attending your PDB classes, prepare well for the interview and group discussion, and hopefully GK will cease to be an issue. Okay, Priyanshi is saying I am scoring only 3 in GK. Priyanshi, it should not be a problem. 3 is on the borderline, but it should be okay. When will XLR release the answer? Another 3 to 4 days. XLR typically comes out with the answer key within 3 to 4 days of the paper. So maybe about Wednesday or Thursday of this week, you should get the answer key from XLR. Sandeep is saying I have attempted 36 out of it. 30 are correct. Can I get a call from XIMB? Yes, possibly yes. On the edge, but hopefully you will get a call. Swapnil is saying I have joined test series of CL. I'll get 40 marks. How can I join GDPI classes? I'm from Bangalore. Swapnil, please connect with the Bangalore Center immediately or drop me an email at gp@careerlauncher.com. I'll connect you to the Bangalore Center. Okay, so either connect to your Bangalore Center directly and start your classes. Alternately, send me an email to gp@careerlauncher.com and I'll connect you to Bangalore Center. Okay. Okay, Pratik is saying if we mark 2 bubbles by mistake, would that be considered wrong or considered unattempted? It will be considered as wrong. So question which is read twice by the machine is typically considered to be wrong. Score calculator will be available. Let me just check out. I think the score calculator should be on. Just give me a minute. I'll confirm it. Just hold on. Score calculator will be on in another 5 minutes. So by the time we finish this session, it should be on. Yeah. Deepak is saying joined late. Please be for our GK section. GK section was not easy, is what I would say, but not very difficult. Also, there were definitely 10 odd questions which one could attempt. Score of 7 to 8. I would say a score of 5 is also fine. Nothing much to be worried about as far as GK is concerned. Himanshu is asking, was ABCD quadrilateral question correct? Himanshu, I did not attempt that question. I left that question, so I will not be able to come to confirm. But yes, it definitely looked a little confusing. So since I was attempting the paper like a student, I did not want to waste my time. But it is one of those questions which is taking us time to solve and possibly delayed the answer key. Okay, now we have Tenzin. Don't worry about the marks of 10th, 12th graduation. They are not important. These scores are important. What are the numbers given on this slide are important for converting your call. The weightage for 10th, 12th graduation, and you have good marks in 10th, 12th and graduation, 89.8 in 10th, 90 in 10th, in 12th, 85 in graduation. You will get that weightage will work for you. So just focus on, and then please focus on your PDP. Start your classes immediately if you have not started already. SC candidates for IRMA, the cutoff would be something like a 65 percentile. For SPGN, profile-based scores are considered. Someone with 18 and 14, 32 and 10, 42 attempts, you should get calls from LIBA, TAPME and IRMA, but XLRE may not happen because with 10 attempts in verbal, you may or may not clear the sectional cutoff. If you, and this is now a function of your accuracy. 18, 14, 32 with 42 attempts, someone in your case, it is now a question of accuracy more than anything else. If you have a good accuracy, you will get calls from these institutes, otherwise it might be difficult. Deepak is asking what is the answer on question on Rani apple oranges selling price 653. 17.4%. My answer was 17.4%. Let me just confirm it once again, but I think it was 17.4%. Yeah, 17.4% Deepak is the answer to the apple and oranges question. Akash, yes, that question might get eliminated because the question is incorrect. Abhilash is asking, how do you rank XLRE compared to IIMs? As far as I am concerned, IIM, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta and XLRE are at the same level. There is no difference between these four. You can go to any one of these four. Chitranjan, you don't necessarily have to have work experience to get into SPGN. You can get into SPGN without work experience also. Avinash, the cutoffs are given on this particular slide. While there's some amount of mess around here, I'm sure you can read the numbers. When can we expect profile-based shortlist from SPGN? Anytime now. Actually, they have late. Last year, the profile-based calls came sometime in end December. So we are definitely late by at least a week, if not more. Dipanjan is asking, is 90 percentile possible to convert HRM of XIMB? Yes. At 90 percentile, you can convert XIMB, HRM very, very comfortably. Deepak will be releasing the answer key, though otherwise we'll get down to I'll get down to answering all the questions. The last time I'm answering you, the answer to the two equilateral from that question, the answer is choice B, 486 under root 3 square centimeter. Vidul, what score will be equivalent to 95, 98, 99? 95, 98, 99 are given out here. You can have a look at this kind of thing. Okay. What level of question should we practice for test gems from TIS? For TIS, you can focus only on level 1 questions. Nothing more is required. Sneha, with 48 attempts but only 11 in QADI, what can you expect? Sneha, the score calculator will be live in a few minutes. You can check your scores and it will also tell you where all you can expect a call from. Okay, I'm not asking those specific questions again. Sorry, I'm not answering questions to I'm not giving answers to the questions of the paper. Otherwise, that is the only thing I'll end up doing. The answer key will be up in a few minutes, and you can check the answers here. How is IAFMR and IAFM? Can they be considered? Yes, both of them can be considered, Mudit. But with 3.5 years work experience, they should be considered as backup rather than the main focus area. If you are desperate to do an MBA and are okay with finance by and large, yes, you can consider these two institutes. Global management by XLI is comparable to 1 year PGP at Great Lakes. I will say global MBA of XLI will be better than 1 year PGP at Great Lakes. Sectional cutoff for global management program about 75 percentile. Okay. Avilash scored almost equal marks in GK. I don't know, Avilash, whether you have done extremely well in Quant in GK or extremely poor in GK. So let's just see. Hopefully you have done well in both of them and getting a 10 plus in both. Avinash, I'm scanning 11 questions correct in GK. Will it be beneficial for getting a call? No. Calls are based only on your scores in Quant, verbal and DM. And 11 in Quant also means you are clearing the cutoffs there. Where's the answer key? Check out careerlauncher.com/that. The answer key should be live now. How important are GDPI classes? From my point of view, extremely important, because the next stage is the one which is the one which is more difficult. Because anyone who gets a call has got a very high chance of converting. So you should start, if you're expecting a call, please start preparing immediately. Okay. Any test series to practice for TIS exam? Yes, there are 3 tests available in SIS for TIS. So those of you are keen on TIS, please make sure you attend those papers. I think we are getting the same questions again. Okay. Okay, I think, yeah, that's it. We are getting the same questions again, so I'm just closing the session. Just to repeat, those of you who have to to check your score, the score calculator should be live. Go to careerlauncher.com/that. Okay, the score calculator will be available here and the answer key will be available here. Okay, all the best. Thank you very much. And just to repeat, these are the sectional cutoffs and the overall cutoffs that are expected from this paper. Thank you. All the best.